Hi, hello. Welcome back to Even More News, the first and only news podcast. My name is Katie Stoll.
Hi, hello, what's up? How's it going? I'm Cody. Welcome to you welcoming me.
Thank you for that. I feel welcomed. We would also like to welcome our guest this week, host of the podcast Better Offline, CEO of EZPR, and writer of the newsletter Where's Your Ed At? It's Ed Zitron.
What's up?
What is up?
I am just going insane. I've spent the whole week reading financial filings. I'm like deep in the weeds now. I'm like Michael Burry's character in The Big Short, except instead of Mastodon, it's Five Finger Death Punch.
Oh, don't do that to yourself.
Yeah, I truly hate myself deeply. And also, I'm not going to have insane anti-lockdown stuff. It's really not great looking up what happened after The Big Short for many reasons, but none of the characters have gone particularly well. Like, none of the guys, the movie and the book frame it like they were going to go on to great things, and the most part, they did not.
Disappointing, not surprising.
Not me. I'm going to be fine.
That's right, exactly.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that Jonathan is also here.
Hi. Feel free to be remiss sometimes, Katie.
I don't know. I felt free to be remiss a couple times, and then I heard about it in the comments.
Oh, yeah, they'll come after you. The J Hive will be there.
Did they get mad for you not mentioning that Jonathan was here?
There was just so many people saying, like, is Jonathan also there?
Wow. This woman's being hella remiss.
Yeah, I think so many comments, 1,000 likes just to the one person saying that I was remiss.
We're starting a little army, a metaphorical army, but still, they're there.
All right, well, we've got holidays to celebrate. I don't want to miss those either. Friday, March 28th. National Something on a Stick Day, Jonathan.
Get out of here.
Is it?
Observed each year on March 28th, National Something on a Stick Day is a food holiday that lets you use your creative talents. Once you get started, the possibilities are endless.
Hey, wait.
I disagree with what you just said.
You wrote it.
Did not.
It's in quotes.
Copy-pasted
It's in
it.
quotes. It's in quotes in the doc. He didn't write it.
He did not. That makes more sense why I saw a video in my feed yesterday about a woman taking a perfectly delicious looking cake and then Pop-Tarts and blending them up.
Yeah.
And then mashing them into a thing and putting a stick in it. So it's like a cake pop. It looked foul.
That sounds disgusting.
Well, Ed, we're going to definitely talk to you about AI stuff, but we're going to save that for a little bit. But before we dive into the heavy-hitting news, I'm just going to mention that you are a baseball guy.
I am.
And is today opening day?
It is, and the game is happening as I'm on this podcast.
Oh,
the Mets.
my goodness. You
Yeah.
are
Thank you so
missing the
much
opening
for
day
your
game.
sacrifice.
That's fine.
Thank you.
I'll be
We
fine. There's
appreciate
plenty of time to watch the Mets lose.
My goodness, it's such a long season. I was shocked.
Yeah, I'm writing a Mets column for the Baseball Prospectus as a guy who is not like a sports journalist, and it's definitely going to be fun.
That sounds fun.
I have like a lot of things I do, I guess, like all the time.
Got your hands in a lot of different buckets.
Yeah, exactly. My hand is in a lot of slop.
Yeah.
I'm slop diverse.
You're very funny. I'm enjoying you so far.
Okay, good. Yeah, nice.
All right, let's keep this momentum going and just dive right in to the story that all of us have been slopping up all week.
Oh.
Now it's our time to slop it back out.
Oh.
The Signal chat.
Indeed. I probably don't need to recap this, but The Atlantic, in response to denials from the Trump administration that, quote, war plans and, quote, classified information were present in that group chat, which included Atlantic editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg. The Atlantic released the full chat yesterday, and those war plans or attack plans, whatever you want to call them, do contain very detailed specific of when and where stuff was going to be blown up.
Surely nothing top secret, though.
I mean, you can decide for yourself. 12:15 ET F-18's launch, first strike package. 13:45 trigger-based F-18 first strike window starts. Target terrorist is at his known location, so should be on time. Also, strike drones launch MQ-9s.
Mind, this is all before. It isn't like a retrospective. This isn't like, we just did it. This is like in an hour and 20 minutes. It's a timeline of what is going to happen.
But don't worry. As Pete Hegseth said in that chat, we are currently clean on OPSEC. which is operational security.
So what's the problem?
Well, yeah, if they're clean
It's like
on
that
it,
bit in The Office where he declares bankruptcy.
you just say it. It's fine. Yeah.
I declare we are clean on
I
ops.
declare
clean.
OPSEC's clean.
Yeah.
We're done. Like, QED.
This news was breaking as we were recording our Monday episode. And so I think we referenced it, and then we all got off of that and were like,
At the
Dear
very end of the
Lord,
episode, I was
throughout
like,
the
oh, by the way, this thing just
FYI,
happened. So
I've just been added to a chat called Government Secrets, .biz, and
don't worry, I'm going to leave immediately.
there are so many things to be said. I'm glad that they printed the receipts that they had, because boy, it was very chaotic to watch them try to come up with justifications or excuses, which we are going to run through right now. Just the wildness of him being added to this chat. I'm still wrapping my brain around
I mean,
that.
the SEC a few years ago fined over $100 million, I think it was, to like traders using WhatsApp to discuss customer stuff. Like, this stuff is like very clearly the thing you do not do.
For this,
Right.
For any,
specifically.
like, there are multiple
Like,
layers of things that you don't do this with. I would say this is probably the big one, though.
but apparently not. Apparently it's not classified and it's fine.
I get the recurring segment on this show and all shows that we ever make is the hypocrisy of
How dare you,
obviously
sir. But what if your
the double
opponents did
standards of but her emails of everything, and yet this all the hoops you would think that this would be a slam dunk of we shouldn't have done that, not a slam dunk, but very easy to say oops, that was a mistake, but no, you're going to double down on this. What are some of the excuses, Jonathan?
You pick a fall guy. You pick somebody. It was that person. End of story. Although it's clearly Mike Waltz who like added it at the top. So
just the absurdity of standing up there and say we're going to investigate and figure out how this happened, and then you show the receipts and it's right there. Michael Waltz added you to the
it's so funny. That's what happened. We see it. Same thing with what Tulsi was asked, like, did you use your private or your personal phone? And she was like, that's under investigation. And it's like, what do you mean?
What phone were you using?
The
What phone
iPhones
was
look the
it?
same.
Which phone was it? You're like, whatever. They're all serious people.
I tracked down 5 different excuses that are sometimes
Nice.
contradictory here. But
What? I refuse to believe that.
Yeah.
They have their shit set up pretty tight.
Are you suggesting that they didn't immediately talk to each other about maybe what they should choose as the
No
lie to
coordination.
tell?
Well,
Like,
they're all
why would you
talking.
not? There's something that I think that they're used to now, like the Trumpy people in general, where it's like, we just say whatever, we'll get away with it. You can
Yeah,
lie.
that's kind
you
of what
choose a
scares
lie,
me
you
about
choose
this
a lie.
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
they
they
just say
just-
whatever, and whatever works, they'll go with, but they don't
And they'll
decide
just
ahead
keep
of
doing
time.
It's the fact that they can just be like, no, I'm not. And the Democrats are like, nah, you got to give him that. You got to let him. You just let him stay. Look, he said he didn't do it. I mean, there's evidence, there's screenshots, there's proof. We've got security experts who said this is terrible. We know that this is bad. You're not meant to do it. It's definitely like illegal in some way. But who hasn't fucked up on a group chat? Like,
Who among
yeah.
us?
Who
so
among
that's
us?
one of the
I was
excuses.
going to say, that sounds like an excuse that one would give for this.
The one I want to start with is probably the most confusing one, and this is Mike Waltz on Laura Ingraham explaining himself, kind of indignant that he even has to be there. Like, what's
They're so upset that they have to deal with this. It's absurd.
this is not the whole segment. It's a little supercut I made of some of the vague excuses.
But how did a Trump-hating editor of The Atlantic end up on your Signal chat?
You know, Laura, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but of all the people out there, somehow this guy who has lied about the president, who has lied to Gold Star families, lied to their attorneys, he's the one that somehow gets on somebody's contact and then gets sucked into this group.
I mean, I don't mean to be pedantic here, but how did the number
Have
get
you ever
in the
had
chat?
have you ever had somebody's contact that shows their name and then you have somebody else's
I
number
never
there?
make those mistakes.
Right? You got somebody else's number on someone else's contact. So of course I didn't see this loser in the group. It looked like someone else. Now whether he did it deliberately or it happened in some other technical mean is something we're trying to figure out.
If this is so hard for you to figure out that you added him to the text, I don't know that you should be in
You
charge of
gotta
anything.
resign, dude. You gotta get somebody else to do this job.
At least have someone else handle your phone.
And Ed, maybe you'll be able to enlighten me a little bit about the signal of this all, because I don't have Signal. I don't really know how it works. but he's suggesting that Jeffrey Goldberg took on some assumed identity, somehow got added to this secret chat that people in the chat can't see exists, and in a way where other people wouldn't be able to see the member. Is that how Signal works?
Wait, run that by me.
Okay.
I know.
He's saying, he's like, did you ever have someone else who was on the wrong contact, but that doesn't matter because you didn't add him. Like, we don't know how he got added. And so, of course, I didn't see this loser. So it's unclear if he's saying that there was a different identity.
Yeah, if they added did he mean to add someone else?
That he meant to add somebody else that's JG.
Some JG.
Who's JG?
But also,
chair of the Joint Chiefs or whatever.
I'm just going to say,
Jeff Goldblum.
If you're adding based on, see, this is the problem that you run into when you add only based on first and last initial. Maybe with something as serious as this, maybe look at the full name before you add them.
Fair point. I don't want to get too far in the weeds on this because there's a lot more elements to this to
it's
get
like
through.
the excuses are merely only funny, but it's part of the tapestry of you're just figuring out what lies to tell in real time.
What's another excuse here we got?
Well, that it wasn't classified. I think they've backed off of this for a minute because Tulsi Gabbard told the Senate Intelligence Committee that no classified information was revealed in the chat.
But as the President National Security Advisor stated, no classified information was shared. There were no sources, methods, locations, or war plans that were shared.
Then, of course, the full chat was revealed. So now they're in a position to say that stuff wasn't classified. And this is similar to another excuse, which is that they weren't war plans, they were attack plans. Because when The Atlantic published the full chat, their second article, the headline said attack plans, whereas the first one said war plans. And then Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt is attached to that. Like, see, they've even conceded that they're not war plans.
Quick question. Where do attacks tend to happen?
Vacuums.
Oh,
inside vacuum
panic,
or nothing.
Anxiety.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like in general, like where does an attack of this nature does it tend to happen when we're at war?
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I ain't no army expert.
Well, we
I just go on
certainly.
the war.
Well, we're
front
technically
before.
not at war, even though we're always at war.
We
So that's
really
the beauty of it.
that's the point. The real point is there's this gray area where we are almost always at war, but very rarely have we officially declared war. But we're bombing places, baby. We are.
Yeah, but
We've
America
got our
loves
fingers
doing
in that slop.
Yeah.
America just loves a good little bit of war.
Can't get enough of it.
You can take the Britain out of the country, but
Yeah.
you have a way around that.
It's also irrelevant because whether it's war or an attack, clearly Pete Hegseth understood the need for secrecy, or else he wouldn't have put "we are currently clean on OPSEC" into the chat. Because if he should have put ... Not that it matters. Anyone can see
right.
this.
Also,
Or just ... not. Like,
JK,
that would have been funny.
Like, that would have been funny, actually. But like, that's the thing. It doesn't matter because I don't know if I don't think I've seen anybody actually ask this. Let's say that JG published this 2 hours before the attack. Would that have been a problem for them? Would they have tried to arrest that man? Like, it's absurd to think that this wasn't something
gonna try
that
to
they needed
anyway?
to keep classified. And just to pull back on the whole war of it all, the constant war that's not actually a war. These are our anti-war presidents and vice presidents. This is the anti-war establishment that was allegedly voted
Promised.
in. That's what they framed themselves as. And if you read some of the text, that is not what's going on. Obviously, that was never going to be the case. But just they're sort of like gleeful, like Target Window is like his girlfriend's building. We blew it up. Great, excellent stuff.
The emojis are what does it for me.
Fist bump, fire, all that stuff. It's so celebratory of the thing that you're supposed to think is bad.
Yeah, like a regrettable part of society.
Right. It's like, oh my God, I know. And like even I've seen people point out the Vance part of it where he's like, this is a bad idea. But if you read the actual text that Vance sends, it's a bad idea to him because of the optics. He's saying people aren't going to like it. They're not going to understand the decision, but it's necessary. He literally says, but it's necessary. So I don't think J.D. Vance is actually an anti-war person. I think he's just worried that people who voted for them are going to see them as pro-war by these actions. He was worried about the reaction to it,
Absolutely.
not about the action
Worried
of it.
about the reaction of the attack? Or
He's worried about the reaction of like his like contingency to the attack as opposed to the action of the attack.
Since when did Americans give a shit about blowing up Yemen?
Since they pretended that they're anti-war.
They didn't.
Well,
the scandal is
but they
that
didn't,
the
exactly,
messages
yeah.
are out.
Yeah,
No
no,
one cares that 53
No one cares.
people were blown up in this attack.
Which is another point we wanted to make here today, which is a wild element of this story, is that there's zero conversation about the fact that a lot of innocent people lost their lives. You know, all of this was in pursuit of one target, and they blew up an entire building and civilians were there. It's just wild. Again, the anti-war president, which is we say that facetiously because we've all known for this whole time that he's not one. And that's the point. And like, yeah, you're right, Cody, the optics he cared about. He also didn't want to bail out Europe and help
he
them,
also hates Europe,
you
obviously,
know.
but
Another reasoning that I think is very fun that they've given is that this actually showed great teamwork, strong leadership and collaboration.
Oh, yeah.
People are spinning it that way.
All the boys in the group chat, everyone, someone makes a typo. You're like Yaman. Everyone does Yaman. They changed the name of the group chat to Yaman.
yeah. This motherfucker said Yemen. Yeah, exactly.
Was the Grink there and so on? I think everyone's made the Grink joke at this point.
Everyone should.
I don't want to gloss over, we've mentioned this obliquely, but Signal is not the spot to be having these conversations, obviously.
Yeah.
Especially not on a personal phone, because I don't even think, can Signal even go on a government phone?
So many people in that chat, too.
There were so many people.
So many Seems
people.
unnecessary. Seems like maybe you need to keep some people, like...
Also, don't all of these people have much easier... They have skiffs, right? It's a secure room where they can all go and like talk about this stuff. And it seems like, one, they're busy doing other stuff and they don't really want to do that. And two, they want to get around the Presidential Records Act and they don't want what they were saying to get out for some reason.
So this is the important thing. This is a very important point that's also not getting that much attention in this conversation. The Project 2025 of it all, in which they specifically outline taking conversations into spaces like Signal, specifically to avoid Presidential Records Act. So is this just a fluke, or is this a specific shift?
And the thing is, you can't tell, because nothing about it looks particularly organized.
Yeah.
And these don't seem like it doesn't seem like they were like, let's go and do this. Though they could have, who fucking knows? Because looking at it, it's just the fellas in the group chat, instead of being like dopey about like sports, they're fucking talking about blowing people up. It's genuinely horrible.
It's
like
very weird.
It's like stomach
it's unsettling. Yes, exactly.
And I think that what's unsettling about it is, I'm sure that this is not the first time this has happened with any administration, or that there's not been a group of guys hooting and hollering about blowing up people in another country.
Yeah.
But seeing it and seeing like I know, like I was kind of laughing at the emojis, but it's fucking gross.
Yeah, it is.
Like you don't want to do like the fist bump shit when you just blew up a house.
Yeah, it's very I mean, it's not cosplaying because they're actually doing it, but it has that vibe of like, we're finally like we're like in the club and we're doing the bombings now.
Yeah.
Like it's why like Hegseth was the guy. Like he looks like he would be like the fucking slick hair, and like it's this vibe of, it's very Starship Troopers coded, really.
Oh, they were by comparison quite reserved.
Yeah.
Did you see the photo and the post of J.D. Vance spreading his freedom seed?
I
the
did
range.
see
God.
him spreading his freedom seed.
Fucking, what the fuck, man? Freedom seed?
Because they're such anti-war. They're the anti-war administration.
So absurd.
Why was he in full military gear? What was he doing? Does he do that every time he goes to the range?
Sending some freedom seeds downrange is the grossest thing I've ever read.
As he sends his cum down the range, like
It's the freedom seeds is insane. It like absurd. What an absurd, disgusting. Like
Is that what people say who are into guns, or did
no one has ever said
No.
that. That is a brand new thing. Like no one's ever said that.
doesn't get more American
I
than
have
that?
firearms that I shoot down the range, and only down the range. No dreams of any kind of home defense. And if I ever heard someone say freedom seed around me, I would contact the range safety officer and be
As
like,
one
I think
should.
this person has a concussion. and
think
they
they should
are
be
not
here
safe
anymore.
I know we're not big on gun safety in this country, but they just said freedom seeds.
Oh God. Well, because it's also there's something about it that is like it is gross and weird and hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's gross in this other way. We're spreading our freedom seeds. No, they're bullets. They're for killing people. Like, it's this, like, peacekeepers. No, they're police. They're like this rephrasing to make this like a softened, desirable, like peaceful thing, spreading freedom. It's this really gross propaganda that is misguided because it's freedom seeds. It's disgusting.
Why was he in his fucking fatigue?
Oh, I have an answer for that. Because of the memes. The memes of him, I think, made him feel a little emasculated and a little bad about himself. And so he's been doing this sort of tour of like, I'm going to wear fatigues. I'm going to wear my army shit. I'm going to do gun stuff to prove that I'm not the memes.
So you look like you're cosplaying as an army man?
Yeah.
A great way
Everyone's cosplaying in this. You got that Christy Noem is out there cosplaying.
Oh, God, that video was so horrifying.
Cosplaying as the worst person on earth.
All these freaks love cosplaying as Nazis. Yes.
That was so. I saw that. It's quite hard to like turn my stomach, and that video really. And then people responding, being happy about it. It's like, even if you believe these are the most wretched criminals of all time, the worst people alive, above due process, there is a certain level of societal treatment that you should give all prisoners. And it doesn't mean you have to like them or approve anything they do. It's like basic human rights.
And again, even if you don't like it, take it up with the Constitution. Pass a constitutional amendment that says, we don't need due process. We'll just get rid of these people and treat them however we want. Sorry, like, we've got rules.
The relishing in it all is really, really disgusting. In all these aspects, like the deportations, these bombings, everything is just like, and you love it. You love this shit. And it's so repulsive.
I want to highlight something that I don't think has gotten as much attention in this. I don't know that Donald Trump 100% approved this strike, which is...
I don't either.
I don't know who talks anywhere. I don't know if anyone talks.
And I'm not sure, it doesn't comfort me that, like, oh, well, Donald Trump's in charge. But there's a discussion in this chat between Pete Hegseth and Stephen Miller chimes in, and they're like, not debating, but they're a little bit like, we've got to go on this, right? This is 100% go. We're doing it in 2 hours. Because Stephen Miller starts his message with, as I heard it, the president was clear, green light, and we soon make it clear to Egypt and Europe what we expect in return. But Pete Hegseth was like, POTUS still retains 24 hours of decision space. So...
Stephen Miller also shouldn't be knowing about, like, there's no reason for Stephen Miller specifically to know any of this stuff, it doesn't seem.
I am a little concerned.
What is his official job?
He's in charge of the most
racism advisor?
fascist stuff. Yeah, he's like a top advisor. But like,
I thought that's what his title was.
As awful as Trump is, and like, I'm not saying anything good about Trump here, I don't want Stephen Miller to be ordering military strikes at all in any capacity. I believe that Trump actually has more regard for human life than Stephen Miller does.
Oh, a high bar.
Stephen Miller's the deputy chief of staff.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Why is
great
the deputy chief of staff? I'm so tired.
Yeah, it's really, really. That's the thing. Like, there's this.
And we're 3 years into this admin now.
Oh my God, I know. It's like it feels just like
it's been 2 months.
It feels like 10. Just like all these, like, because there's this larger story of the like adding the journalist, and even questions of that, of like, why do you have this, you like all these, like, oh, if it was an Al Jazeera like a journalist, I saw Jesse Waters say that, it's like, if it was an Al Jazeera journalist, maybe it's a problem, but not this scumbag, who cares? Like, wait, if he's a scumbag, isn't that a problem too? They're saying he's like a hoaxer and a scumbag and a terrible guy. It's like, but then why do you have his number? What are you doing? And so there's all these questions of the leak of it, but then like we're talking about the content of it too, and like their relationships and how they're communicating this stuff. There's so much to it, and I just wonder if it matters at all. Like, this does seem like there's actual, like, almost bipartisan, like, well, that's bad actually, but it doesn't. I just don't know if it's going to break through.
Yeah, like the Senate committee, the bipartisan Senate committee, is calling for an investigation, which means we got to go through an investigation when the entire thing is laid out.
Those always deal with this specific admin. so well. They generally end up with stuff happening. It isn't just like months of meandering and then nothing.
Thank goodness.
I do feel like maybe Mike Waltz will, if this keeps going, will have to take the fall for it. Like if it just isn't going away.
It says so right there.
I feel like Mike Waltz might be the one that they
well, because he said also the day before, he was like, we don't know what happened. We don't know who added them. We don't know this, blah, blah, blah. You see it. It's clear as day what happened. So why did you need so much time?
He did it, and then he lied
investigate.
too.
Exactly.
But one would hope that that's the ultimate outcome, that there is some sort of resolution to that effect. I honestly don't know how this is breaking through to the average Trump voter. I haven't spoken to anybody about it.
It's a messy story. It's hard to explain why it's a problem. Like, it's one of those things, it's one of those stories where you have to declaratively push for a resignation. You don't back off until you get one. And again, thankfully, the Democrats generally extremely declarative with their action, organized, clearly spoken on the issues that matter.
Yeah, thankfully.
They've got their
Laser
messaging
focus. They got them. They're aligned on everything.
Yeah. So at least I trust that they're on it.
Yeah. Speaking of Democrats, sorry. Trump said yesterday that these strikes should have happened under Biden. Biden should have done this. He did. It didn't work. It's not. It seems like it may be a failing strategy for this
happened under
scenario.
Obama too.
The blockade
All of them.
stopped briefly during the ceasefire. That's how to get it to stop, is a ceasefire. It seems.
But that ceasefire, I read that the ceasefire broke down mysteriously. Nobody knows how it broke down, but that ceasefire disappeared. And
the one that was announced victoriously, like 4 days after Trump got into office, and then slowly sort of dissipated.
Yeah, I mean, I know ceasefires break. Someone has to break the ceasefire, but in this instance, it seems to have just evaporated.
Okay.
Into thin
Interesting.
air. Yeah.
No further
Well,
questions.
things do evaporate. That's
That
basic
happens.
science. I think we need to take a quick break, and then we will be back for more news. That's the name of the show. Even more news.
Yeah. Greetings, salutations, and hello. I'm working on my synonyms. Word equivalent. Anyway, the news is exhausting, and I used to be desperate for a way to keep track of it all without crying, weeping, or being generally sorrowful. Thankfully, I found Ground News, which you can visit via the QR code on the screen. Ground News is a sponsor we sought out that's a website and an app. It gathers news from across the political spectrum so you can compare coverage and see what's what. Like how Donald Trump invoked a 200-plus-year-old law to make it easier for him to deport people. Can I get a sarcastic yippee, hooray, and good gravy? With Ground News, I can see that, at least as of the day it happened, less than 10% of the coverage of that story came from right-leaning sources. Basically, just the New York Post. That's curious, no? You'd think they would like the thing that they wanted. It's easy to cut through the noise at ground.news/SMN. With that link, you can get 40% off unlimited access, a factuality chart, and you can even see which outlet broke the news and the political lean of the publication owners. That's a lot of useful information. That's ground.news/SMN to get 40% off unlimited access for yourself or someone you know. The link is in the delineation below. Description. I should just say description. It's in the description. Too many synonyms. Now I can't even speak correctly. Description.
And we are back as promised for even more news. That's right. And boy, do we have some. Jonathan, what's going on in the world of executive orders that are always great and legal, and the president definitely understands executive orders?
Yeah. He signs a bunch every week, but
He
one
does.
that he signed this week is especially one of them. He signs an executive order that seeks to require proof of American citizenship when you register to vote, that mail-in ballots have to be received by Election Day instead of just postmarked by then. Federal agencies, including DOJ, will get access to check state rolls for consistency with federal requirements.
Sounds
And
bad.
That states can lose federal funding if they disobey these orders. real quick, states control their own elections.
Yeah.
He doesn't really have the authority to just do any of this. So there will be lawsuits real quick, and we'll see if the Supreme Court decides that is that the reality is what is the reality, or if it's something they made up.
How do you even fucking confirm citizenship?
They want to see your passport or a birth certificate that matches your current name, which there has been some concern about if you are a married woman who has changed her name, that it might not apply to you.
There are a lot of scenarios that would, be a problem.
Yeah, no, I was actually asking because I did not know. Like, this is not a lead up. This is ignorance.
Are they gonna put in place some sort of system to ensure that everybody has easy access to that kind of documentation so that they can prove it?
Yeah, that's the other part of
voting
this.
is a right, and if you're putting any sort of obstacle in front of that right, then you need to ensure that everybody has the ability to get past that obstacle as well, in order to make it a right that everybody gets.
No.
So I'm sure they have. No, they don't.
No, they've
They're
said
not going to help people vote.
They've been adding people, right, to staffs of parts of the government. Not the opposite, right?
Not the opposite. No,
Oh, Ed.
Sorry, Ed. I
they've
think you're
been
mixing
removing many
things up.
people
What?
from everywhere. It's like
My bow tie's spinning.
I know. I'm so sorry.
Fucking
But
hell.
at least they're good at it.
Right.
Like they're doing it
They're
effectively.
laying off the right people.
Exactly. They're being
It's
very
never
specific
anyone they
about
need
it.
to rehire.
No. They rehire. Why would you ever need to rehire somebody?
It feels like every day there's a story where it's like, we're shutting down a government facility, costs $500 every 10 years.
Yeah.
And their only job is to protect the world tree that keeps the earth spinning. And Elon Musk goes on television that the Yggdrasil is actually incredibly cringe, and we don't need the world to spin. And it's just every fucking day there's some new shit.
They're getting rid of our seeds, I read.
Our freedom seeds?
Yep, no, that is actually, I was joking about the world tree, but the seeds thing
But
is
literally
real.
the seeds, yeah. It's, what the hell?
Why?
Well, because it cost money.
Cause money, or he wants them.
It's seeds.
I thought we love seeds. We love freedom seeds.
We love our freedom seeds, but not the living seeds. We don't like our life seeds.
It costs money, which Elon confirmed a few weeks ago the government can just create.
Yup.
And it's not a problem to
They
pay for
have
the
magic
seeds.
money computers. Everything's computer now. You can just make money. But the seeds cost too much money.
This whole executive order, it's another thing of playing into a lie, essentially, which is that illegal citizens are voting. You know, people
Right.
in which they aren't. Non-citizens are not voting. It's an attack on everything that people have been doing to try to expand voting rights and access to make it easier so that more people show up. Even as is, we have a shocking amount of people in this country that don't vote for a variety of reasons. But no, instead of making it easier, we're making it significantly harder. Especially this, it needs to be, can't even be postmarked. Your ballots can't be postmarked on election day. It has to be in. It's already so confusing the way one states do it. This state varies wildly from this state. But again, it was states' rights. I thought that was their thing, that states get to decide how they want to manage things.
Only for slavery.
It's going to be difficult to show, a lot of times they do show naturalized citizens as non-citizens in databases.
There's the Brennan Center did a study, 3.8 million people don't have birth certificate or passport just because it's lost or been destroyed. They don't have access
Yeah, I don't know
to
where
it.
my birth certificate is.
Something like 21 million don't have access to it because it's somebody else's house, safe deposit box, not an immediate thing. But millions of people just don't have it, and if they're not considering how to ensure that everybody has easy access to it, then you're only stopping people from voting.
That's the intention.
Which is the intention, exactly. Same thing with you got to make sure you have a passport or we'll deport you.
But aren't there a lot of old people that vote for the Republicans? The traditional thing, Noah and stuff have it. Do you think that are they relying on old people? I guess there are some old people that love having documents, but do they not think this won't affect red states. Like
it doesn't seem like they care about anything affecting. Like they're already, all
it's
going
all
after Social
symbolic,
security, like all this sort of
stuff.
stuff. Yeah, it's such a culture war thing, and young people seem that ebbs and flows really, really frequently now. Actually, their opinion of Trump, but I think they just don't care. Honestly, like they're not thinking about these things. They just want to do all their stuff. Yeah,
but it's just at some point I'm like, all of this stuff. Are there really that many people that really are enjoying this? Like they're seeing this and they're like, yeah, those people look miserable. Oh, they're in an inhumane jail. Oh, it's now more difficult to vote. Oh, good.
The hope is that fewer and fewer people, as it happens more and more, realize like, oh, wait, half the stuff they said was a lie, and the other half they were serious about. And both of those things,
I think for real, the Social Security stuff is going to be what gets them in trouble. Because the memas out there pretty much have three conversation subjects: Social Security checks, going to the doctor, or planning to go to the doctor.
And you're not allowed to do any of that here.
Can't do any of that.
Grandchildren's birthday parties, but yeah.
Sure, if they, or who is divorced, and I mean that is a big red state thing, but it just feels like they will touch a third rail at some point, and they're close. The Social Security,
I
just like there's so many stoves in front of them.
I don't. Just a reminder to all of us that, feels like it's been years. It's been a couple months. And I think some of this will take time. I think you're right. Social Security is, I think, seeing images of people being detained, disgusting conditions, all of it. But it's curious what actually breaks through. We're all pretty online and dialed in. Where are you getting your news? Most people are going about their day-to-day lives. But I think it's starting to seep in. It's just been, 8 weeks?
It really doesn't feel that way.
But in terms of this, I do ultimately think this one isn't on its face something that's going to turn off a Trump voter, because they've been sold a lie that millions of illegal citizens have been voting, and so they think that this is designed to target the problem that actually doesn't exist, and don't realize that actually this is going to affect me when I'm trying to register, and wait, I don't have my birth certificate.
I truly think something happens before voting. I think that they're going to fuck up Social Security in a way that turns the old people in even more insane.
They've only had 2 months. They got a lot more before election time again to fuck up. And because like a lot of these things, also it's dependent on what the media focuses on. They're talking about Signal all week. That's effective for some people. Some people don't care.
It's a messy story.
We're gonna get to we're gonna get to the disappearances in a minute, things like that, and this voting stuff. These are all things also that there's like these different categories of bad shit that people are realizing, right? All these firings, all these like different programs that they don't realize maybe 5 months ago, like, oh right, that existed because of the government or this grant or this or whatever. Like they don't realize all the connectedness going on, so they're like, wait, I lost my job too. Right. And then there are also these other things like with the voting and with maybe like the mass deportations now is something, as we've talked about, people don't realize like the implications of that. And as you start doing it, like, oh, well, we don't actually have room for these people. So either we have to build a bunch of more private prisons, which eventually people will be like, wait, this is actually bad. Or they have to just send everybody out of here without due process. And that's like, oh, wait. Oh, right. If it's too many people, you do this bad thing or you do this bad thing. It's just not a feasible project. And so it takes a long time for people to realize like, oh, wait, you're going to just send people who are like completely innocent out of the country because of this plan that I didn't think far enough ahead about. And that
maybe you didn't either.
Right. Exactly. Like maybe maybe nobody really thought about this.
No one thought even a little bit.
Right. And so it's this thing that like you need a few months to see it play out to be like, oh, right, what a fucking bad idea. As opposed to something like Social Security, where if they go after it immediately, it's like, wait, what? No.
But they're already getting there. There was a Washington Post story about it.
Oh, they're getting closer. I mean, you already have Elon like talking about how it's a Ponzi scheme to Rogan and all these, like the messaging is very clear.
It scares me. Like this one, there's lots of things that scare me, but my parents are older, they're in good health, but We live in a rural area, and no, you need to be able to have access to somebody on the fucking phone. You can't just shut it all down, you motherfuckers.
Yeah,
It's
I
the
know.
same
I
thing with
know,
USPS. It's like when you start pulling back these things that you think are, oh, it's a fringe thing. Oh, it's just we can just save money. Also, where the fuck is that money going? I hear all this shit about saving money. Is it going somewhere?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you look at the
Like, is it
Doge clock
actually,
and you're like, what are you doing with that?
No, but even then, it's like, what is the money doing? Like, it's not like they've kind of occasionally joked about a stimulus, but they're not going to do that.
That's no way that's happening, obviously.
But it's like, what, like, I feel like that is the natural end point here. It's like, at some point, someone has to ask, okay, even though it's questionable how much you've saved, does that change anything materially for anyone?
Right.
Does this does someone get paid more? And I know the kind of vacuous supposed to like, oh, just go to the rich, but like a little more specific there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what, how? Like,
like your taxes aren't going to go down.
Details, please.
Like because of
one detail.
But they've stopped so much fraud with all those fraud charges we're seeing in the news every day.
But again, even if they had, which they haven't, where is the money going? What is the net benefit of saving this money? Where is it? Is this thing? Are we getting more stuff? Like, are we going to get like a Cybertruck? Does everyone get a Cybertruck?
Everyone gets a Cybertruck
you.
that can't be insured.
I saw one outside my apartment the other day. It said "Go to the moon," and it was spray painted on it. And it's just like, I don't even know how even some deranged Elon fan looks at this fucking thing and doesn't feel shame. It's an ugly vehicle.
If you spray paint it, then that kind of masks
spray paint
it, right?
or not, you could make it any color in the world. It still looks like it's from the video game Flashback, well, PC game.
It's a nightmare. It is an actual nightmare car. And it's deeply embarrassing for whomever is driving it and making it. It makes fart sounds if you press a button.
Well, that's based.
Great.
Katie. That's based.
Great. Before we move on to talking about AI things with our guest, we would be remiss if we did not mention some more of the disappearances that have happened since last we spoke, because it is truly chilling.
The most recent one is very chilling. There's a video of it. Her name is Ramesa Ozturk. She's a PhD student at Tufts University. She's on a student visa. She co-wrote a pro-Palestinian op-ed. The op-ed just says, I would like this school to divest from Israel stuff. We don't want our tuition money to go to genocide. And there's a video. It's very scary. It's a bunch of masked thugs basically approach her on the street and take her away. And Marco Rubio gave a little speech today, and he said her student visa has been terminated. She's now not legally in the U.S.
We revoked her visa. It's an F1 visa, I believe. We revoked it, and here's why. And I'll say it again. I said it everywhere. Let me be abundantly clear, okay? If you go apply for a visa right now, anywhere in the world, let me just send this message out. If you apply for a visa to enter the United States and be a student, and you tell us that the reason why you're coming to the United States is not just because you want to write op-eds, but because you want to participate in movements that are involved in doing things like vandalizing universities, harassing students, taking over buildings, creating a ruckus, we're not going to give you a visa. If you lie to us and get a visa and then enter the United States and with that visa participate in that sort of activity, we're going to take away your visa. And once you've lost your visa, you're no longer legally in the United States, and we have a right, like every country in the world has a right, to remove you from our country.
They think she was sent to the same facility in Louisiana that Mahmoud Khalil was sent.
What's going on in Louisiana?
There's a big private prison there. They want to make money, so they send the disappeared people there.
What are they going to do if it's full?
She is a legal, was a legal resident because they took away her visa because they could do that. Because, they did it because she wrote an op-ed they didn't like. It doesn't even say Hamas. It doesn't say Hamas is good. It doesn't say death to Israel it doesn't say any of that. It says
it's a very tame op-ed. Yeah.
So, just fascist thugs disappearing people on camera in the United States. There's other people. There's a woman named Yun So Chung. She is 21 years old. She's a legal permanent resident. Her family moved here with her when she was 7. She's now a student at Columbia who participated in some pro-Palestinian demonstrations. ICE wants to track her down and deport her. She apparently is still at home okay. A federal judge said the Trump administration has to stop seeking to deport her. This is going to keep happening, and hopefully the legal system for the moment keeps them from being deported, keeps them in this country. But they're living a nightmare right now. Rumeysa Ozturk was going to break her Ramadan fast with friends and never showed up, and it was taken away. What is there to say?
And no one knows where you are. It's just.
And they'll also be able to expand like the reasons that they are giving as it happens more and more and is more normalized more and more. Obviously, on the worst website in the world, you see so many people being like, "Yeah, this is great. Like this is what we voted for." And the more you do it, the more justifications you can give for it, and then it happens more and more. We would be remiss if we didn't mention that it was a bipartisan effort to conflate anti-Israel sentiment with anti-Semitism.
Absolutely.
And they are now using that as a weapon to disappear people for wrong speech.
The Democrat statements that are saying you shouldn't do this are saying, while I disagree wholeheartedly with the content of the op-ed.
Thanks, Chuck Schumer.
You gotta... Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Yeah.
As if... Even if it did say the things they're acting like it says, you don't disappear people and deport them for that.
Yeah. And like 2 months in, again, like it's like they've...
I don't quite know what to say except to keep saying that this is happening and mentioning it and keeping this, because it is... We haven't even mentioned... There's just so many stories of people here legally or traveling, being detained, like we've mentioned before, pouring through your social media, not even in relation to campuses. Let's do a hard pivot.
God. Yeah, from terror to
about
farce, I guess.
The
it's something funny.
Bubble.
This is going to come out, I think, like either the day of or just after the IPO of this company called CoreWeave. Now, real simple stuff. CoreWeave is a company that sells AI compute. So when you run a model or you train a model, you pay CoreWeave for the GPU access. They have about 250,000 GPUs. NVIDIA's an investor and also a customer. Very fucking weird. Anyway, CoreWeave, I've been saying this a lot, they have the vibe of a sickly dog that's eaten a live grenade. Because they're this company made, I think, 1.9 billion revenue last year, lost 863 million. They had lost $863 million. They had $6 billion of expenses. By 2026, they're going to have $7.6 billion of loan payments. This is the first IPO of the AI bubble. And you have people on CNBC being like, yeah, this sucks. This stinks. This stinky boy. And what's really funny about it is I wrote about this company about 20 days ago because they published their S1, which is the document you file when you go public. And you read it and it's like a dog's dinner. It's so bad. They have like $12 billion of loans. They have about $6.3 billion of liquidity. But they have so many more expenses. Their biggest customer is going to be OpenAI by October 2025. Another thing happening in October 2025 is they have to start paying off a giant loan. So the revenue coming in from OpenAI will then be swallowed whole by the loan.
Yeah.
On top of all of this is the company selling the fuel for the AI boom. Like, surely this one should be doing well, right? If, putting aside everything, you've got NVIDIA selling the chips. So the next step down should be making a shit ton of money, not losing $15 billion fucking dollars. Sorry, someone will say, oh, it's $15 billion of capex. They still have to fucking spend it. And I have been arguing with people for several weeks about this because mostly people on Twitter being mad and I don't bother with that shit.
Sure.
But a few people saying, well, they'll work it out. It's always they'll work it out.
They'll work it out. It's such a good
They'll fucking work it out. Now OpenAI, it gets better. It gets so much better because OpenAI is currently raising a $40 billion round from SoftBank, who you may remember from WeWork, and the other great investments they've made.
Yeah.
So $40 billion coming from SoftBank and the syndicate of investors. Except it's not really $40 billion, it's $10 billion. Because SoftBank has to borrow $16 billion to give them the $40 billion. You may think that the math doesn't make sense.
Money is
it
so
doesn't make
fake.
any sense. It's insane. And on top of all of this, I've been talking to people in the tech media for over a year about this, and they're like, yeah, OpenAI will work it out. Except every story about OpenAI is, yeah, they're going to lose $13 billion. They're the most popular company in this industry, and they will lose $13 billion. But don't worry, they'll be profitable by 2030.
Because they're going to jack up the price of the sludge?
Even if
like what?
There's no
Like
path
how?
to profitability.
Yeah, you just
because-
change the dial in the sludge. There's more
But
sludge,
the great
right?
thing about it is you're seeing with CoreWeave, the reason CoreWeave's so bad is because this should be the first downstream win. Like, it's just NVIDIA chips, where'd you put them? A data center. So the money should come out big time, right? It looks like
AI
there's
is
no
everywhere. It's all there is now.
But it isn't, though. That's the real secret. There's not actually that much user. I think OpenAI says they have 400 million weekly active users, which is a really fucking peculiar metric for this, because a company like theirs, which makes money predominantly from software subscriptions, should be doing monthly. They're probably not doing that because their conversion rate's dog shit. I'm getting very technical. Very basic here is CoreWeave kind of shows that literally everyone other than NVIDIA burns money on this. No one makes any money. It's not profitable. I did a story a few weeks ago as well that I looked into the monthly active users of all the products. Terrible. Like Gemini has I think 18 million monthly active users on mobile, which is nothing. That's like there are free-to-play mobile games that install spyware on your phone that are more successful, definitely financially.
Do those active users include the ones who are forced to use it when you do a
Yes.
Google search?
Yes.
Okay. So because that's
with a
Gemini.
Google
that's separate
Gemini's
from Gemini?
weird. They only just put Gemini in the thing.
In like Gmail, and you could use it.
Yeah.
And it's the pop-up comes up.
Okay.
and
Is
you're
that
like,
like the
thank
thing
you,
on
but-
the Zoom when it says, do you want to write a thank you note?
Ooh, and I
Like-
want to meet the perverts who see that and they're like, oh yes.
Yes.
Oh, let me do that. I need an email summarized because I'm too stupid to read. It's just, but the big thing is that I think CoreWeave is the big mask-off. I think CoreWeave is going to show that even if it somehow does well, and it does not look like it's going to, it's still going to show the root economics here are fucked. But everyone's saying, and someone said to me the other day that it's generally all the penguins honk in the same way. That's how we got here with AI. The penguins all went honk honk, AI is the big thing. So everyone started saying AI. Just as quickly, they will go, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. Other than Jim Cramer from CNBC. Jim Cramer's real high on CoreWeave. It's so funny watching Jim Cramer, who, if for any listeners who don't know, Jim Cramer is one of the wrongest men to live.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
You do the
And he was-
opposite of his things, and you do well.
Yeah,
in the
pretty
market.
much. He was on CNBC, and even by he was going like, I think it's gonna be big, and the guy's like, no, Jim, no, Jim.
Why does he still have a job if he's always wrong?
I fucking love it.
Just
I
for
want
fun.
his
He's
job
like
so
Stephen A.
badly.
Smith. He's like
Yeah,
exciting
he's
on
the-
TV.
No,
personality.
Stephen A. Smith is correct sometimes.
At least he's correct. Yeah.
Like, this would be like if every so often Stephen A. Smith was just like, yeah, I think the Los Angeles Angels are going to win the World Series. And everyone was just like, yep, sounds great. I 100%
Sure
believe
thing,
Yeah,
bud.
great.
Yeah.
Thanks for your
Yeah, the
insight.
Cleveland Browns are going to win the Super Bowl this year. And everyone's just like, fuck yeah, great. Sounds great, Stephen.
This is very interesting. I didn't realize how low those users are, and
It's insane.
to put it described like, because you're right, you would want a monthly subscription. That suggests to me those are people that try it every so often for a thing, like as opposed, but it's not being integrated into their life in a way that's meaningful.
Because it
Useful,
doesn't do
meaningful way,
anything that's
exactly.
worth
It's like-
integrating. It
It's
doesn't.
like anything I could think to ask it to do, I'm going to have to do for myself anyway. You know,
You're
you
right,
can write
every-
me that
every-
thank you note, but I'm going to change it.
Every
to
option I
be-
see is like, but I should do that. I don't want my brain to atrophy. Like, I don't want to like not do these. Like, I don't know. It's just like
it's even then. It's not a business. These aren't businesses. Every time someone uses ChatGPT, it loses them money. GPUs are extreme. Like this whole thing is so inefficient. And what really pisses me off, and a number of these things do, is that for a year and a half I've been saying this, and a gradually declining amount of people have gone, you're crazy. AI is the biggest thing ever. And now people are like, maybe AI might not be. Even though it's doing the same shit it did a year and a half ago, it still doesn't really do much that's... And I love my gadgets and my gizmos. I really do. If this shit was going to do something, I would know because I've looked. I don't take inexact words. I use the shit. It doesn't even do the thing that they advertise and they say, oh, business use case. Oh, it automate. No, it doesn't automate shit. I do tons of spreadsheets. I'd love it if my spreadsheet. No, what it does is it pops up and gets in the way of me trying to like edit a word on Google Docs.
Right.
And
it makes it less efficient.
Yes.
Can I ask about the Miyazaki images we've been seeing this week? OpenAI launched a new image generator, and so everyone's making these Miyazaki-style images of like, do The Office, but in this style. And it's like people, like, you're either one of these AI guys who's acting like it's mind-blowing, or you're like, Miyazaki would hate this and I hate this. And like...
It's just like seeing it. It's just like this weird, like, gnarled BuzzFeed shit. Like, I've seen these threads and it's like this shot from Severance as puppets, this same shot as The Simpsons, this same shot. It's just like different type of animations, and it becomes this like, what else could we do? Just that? Like, it's just there's something upsetting about it that I can't even articulate. Seeing
what it
like
is.
All these like it's such sameness that is empty.
The reason it's so upsetting is it's what happens when people who are not creative create. It is people without ideas ideating.
It's nothing.
It is what happens when you're brainless and incurious, when you would get astounded by jingling keys. When you're like, wow, what if The Office was studio? Who gives a shit, you fucking idiot? Go outside. I'm gonna take
and then you see like these
to
like, it's like, oh, I did this. It's The Office as Studio Ghibli. I did all that same image as Studio Ghibli, and it's like, okay, it's slightly different, and it kind of looks the same. It's just like, what are you getting out of seeing these things?
Nothing.
It's
absolutely nothing.
It's not gonna make your son call you.
I did want to.
Well, Ed, if you did him.
In the style of Studio Ghibli.
In the style of Studio Ghibli?
I'm just sending him an image that says, yes, it's a rude son apologizing to a nice father.
It might get him to say, fuck off, Dad, don't call me again.
I actually wanted to talk about this one particular example, if that's okay.
Oh, God. No, please. Really I love pain.
It's really funny to me because it's not just like, what's the point of this? This is empty. This is hollow garbage slop. But also, it's bad. If an artist did it, it would be good. So I'm going to put in the chat this example of this. It is Studio Ghibli doing 3 different memes. And it's we can describe the memes as well. It's the meme of like a guy like talking to somebody aggressively in these 3 different scenarios. You've seen all the memes, we'll put them on screen.
The first 2 are what AI guys look at.
Yes.
This is how women look at them.
Yes, yes, exactly. And if you look at, so like, for example, the original of the guy at, I guess, an Astros game talking to this woman, and he's going like this, and he's got his hand on the back of her neck, grabbing the back of her neck. Famously, the hand is on the back of the neck. That's what makes the meme, because it looks like he has her prisoner, and he's forcing her. She is trapped, and he's got her by the neck. But the Ghibli one doesn't. It's like his hand is like on her back, like gingerly.
And
that's
hand
the
is
point. And hand, obviously, the hand is
they're like little
having
hot
some
dogs.
trouble.
Classic 3 fingers and a nub situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's also not like it's nothing. It takes away the point of the meme. It takes away the thing that makes the meme, which is that he has her prisoner by the back of the neck. Similarly, the next one is a man. The original is a man with very little expression. He's just got like his hand like this, talking to her, and the woman is like, she knows it's a silly situation. She's like kind of got her eyes wide. She's kind of smiling. In the Ghibli version,
she looks
scared and terrified and upset, and the man is yelling at her angrily. That again,
but in the original as well, the woman looks kind of scared, but like not like she's upset,
not in danger.
Just kind of like she's
like,
looking at her friends.
Exactly. It's like there's a personality there that is completely washed away.
Missing. It does a bad job.
Can I tell you my favorite one? My favorite. I'm going to put it in the chat right now. So the person posting this is Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI.
Oh, Sam, what are you doing?
He actually used the ChatGPT thing to put a photo into ChatGPT, a photo of him and some other people, and it's in the Ghibli style, and the guy is doing what some people are saying is the white power thing. It's the okay gesture. I don't think it's that. These people, but anyway, this is the CEO of OpenAI, a company ostensibly worth $300 billion. If this funding round closes, he could pick any image to demonstrate the power of this. And what he did was
the white power of this.
Yeah, the world putting aside, let's say it's not the white power.
Yeah, we're not.
How many fingers do you generally have on a hand?
1, 2, 4 is what I'm counting.
This is a classic 3-finger thumb hand.
This is wild.
This motherfucker could have picked anything.
Yeah.
He could have picked any image in the world, and he picked the one with the 3-finger hand, the guy who has too many fingers, and the weird kind of floating blind that doesn't reach the top of the window.
Oh, yeah.
That probably, like,
Maybe
they had to throw an entire zoo into a furnace to make that happen.
It's like, he's been desensitized. Maybe he just doesn't notice, which is scary.
I was going to say, like, maybe.
Asshole.
It's like, but like, there is something where you're getting so used to AI images being around that your eyes kind of glaze over
that's
these.
What hands look like to him now.
You know?
Yeah.
But that's its own terrifying reality for us all. Like
But the thing is, they have a really expensive PR firm. They have tons of staff. No one was like, "Hey Sam, real quick, you're demonstrating the image generator, and there's only three."
A bad job.
Sam, take it down, Sam.
Run it through again. Say, add a finger.
So ungrateful after he grinds for a decade trying to help make superintelligence to cure cancer or whatever.
And for like a solid month or two, I've been just responding to everything he said, just saying washed.
Oh yeah, it's very effective.
I know when this shit's gonna burst. I know the shit will burst, and I want history to show that someone was lightly mocking him. like
just
an
lightly,
agent,
just
like an aging
every single
player.
is always there.
You know
he looks.
Oh,
you're going to be on the right side of history.
They all
he must, yeah.
He looks.
I hope they do, but I don't like to get ahead of myself and be like, oh, they're watching me. I don't fucking know, but I do know that they will look eventually. And when they do, they will be slightly annoyed, which is all I want.
You know what? I love that. That's
it's
a
nice it's little things.
goal. You're not being an asshole. Slightly annoying.
But it's also much harder to be upset at someone lightly making fun of you in a way that they make fun of like aging sports players. And also being right about this will be really funny because, I mean, on so many levels, it will also be very annoying. And when the bubble bursts, I am going back. I'm going to look at all of the people at the Times, for example, who pretended like this wasn't going to happen, because it may start. Look, we're recording this the 27th of March. The 28th of March may be like a really big day. It may not. Like these capitalism has a way of adapting, but at the same time, the vibes are bad. And if CoreWeave shits the bed, if they shit the bed, it breaks the narrative here. CNBC was saying it, and if that happens, I don't know. Like it will be bad for everyone involved.
That's what's wild.
And then how will I get my Family Guy-ized photos?
I don't know,
Cody. You're just gonna have to figure out how to draw it yourself.
To your point, I'm gonna get Garfield with giant knockers.
Yeah. Tough to be like. It's tough. It's like both. There's a satisfaction and a huge depression to being right, especially when it comes at the cost of people's livelihoods. Chaos for all of us. It's not satisfying to be like, this thing I'm trying to warn you of.
And like all the money
happening.
to it. Like, what
I've been
waste.
saying this for months as well. Like, what I am talking about is not like, there's this guy Casey Newton at Platformer who wrote this thing about the phony benefits or phony comforts of AI skepticism. I hate it for many reasons, other than the fact he's fucking wrong and a dipshit, and like his boyfriend works in Anthropic. It's fucking insane. Anyway, putting aside my many grievances, there's nothing comfortable about this. It's like what I am talking about is like tens of thousands of people losing their jobs, meaningful cuts to the stock market. When this shit falls apart, it's not like a great financial crisis level systemic risk, but it's not.
It's also not like the NFT stuff. Where it's like, all right, you got like.
Yeah, this is an economic and philosophical commitment from the markets in a way that I'm not sure people realize. You got Bob Iger from fucking Disney talking about AI will change everything. It's a great mask-off moment. It's a moment when everyone is going to go, wow, all of these people with all of this money and power don't know a fucking thing. I'm serious. That is a societally destructive idea. Will be a confirmation for so many people. And I said like last year sometime that one of the bigger political issues that people aren't talking about is the war between managers and real people. And I don't think that people realize how big that's going to be, because we had it with remote work. We've had it with AI. The people telling you to use AI don't do real work. They're people that like fucked around with it once and go, yep, that'll replace everything. I don't give a shit. Look, it can do Studio Ghibli now. And we're going to see how many people have been saying this who just clearly never had the fucking idea. And the most important thing to enact change is to never, ever, 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 ever let them hear the end of it. The last time they fucked up like this was like the metaverse and NFT, minuscule compared to this. The important thing to do is talk about these scumbags. Talk about fucking Sundar Pichai of Google, Satya Nadella of Microsoft, Tim Cook. Apple Intelligence is one of the worst things I've ever used in my life. It's just a shit experience that everyone fucking hates. These people have crammed this shit down our throats. Managers out there telling us to use AI, it will do it faster. How, motherfucker? And the answer is it doesn't, because it doesn't do the shit that they claim. It's a giant fucking lie. And I want people to look at this and look at who's responsible and say like, no, I will not accept this shit. And I want like every CEO that was trumpeting AI while obviously fucking lying must be talked about. They must be mocked. Mock them. They
shouldn't be able to do it another time with some other bullshit.
Right.
Yeah. And I actually have hope, though, because I believe consumers are waking up to how bad the tech industry's got. I really believe that there is going to be a reckoning with tech, and they fucking deserve it. Big tech fucking stinks. They suck. They suck at their jobs. They're making the products worse. Look at Google Search. Look at Microsoft Office. Look at Google Docs. Look at Facebook or Instagram. These products fucking suck. And they suck because these people have been allowed to sleep like comfortably, that the news has not attacked them in the way they should. We need more pressure on them.
Well, we need to have you back in a couple of months to see how some of this is shaping up, I think.
Or dab on them. I'm never saying that phrase again. That was the...
No, but you tried it out here, and I'm glad you did. I'm glad you felt
No, it's
safe.
fine. I must be held accountable.
We're going to dab on that, y'all. I don't know. Ed, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Today, we appreciate your time. And this was a fascinating conversation for an industry that I try to understand, but I don't super understand. So I've found this really helpful. Can you please tell our listeners where they can find you and check you out and support your work?
Go to betteroffline.com. I am there. It's all my links. Ed Zitron there's not another Ed Zitron. This is a pretty unique name.
It's a good name.
I'm so lucky for that one. Yeah, you can find Better Offline. .com I just bought so that everything can be there. That's where you find me.
Thank you guys for listening, for all your support, like, subscribe, etc. So on, so forth. Also, before I forget.
What?
We love you very much.
Are you looking for your next case? Pluto TV has all your favorite crime dramas streaming for free.
You're gonna need some backup.
Which means suspense is free.
Very cool.
Watch CSI New York, Criminal Minds, Blue Bloods, Tracker, FBI, and SWAT all for free.
You can't outrun this.
Someone is gonna pay for all this crime. But it's not gonna be you.
Take care of business, fellas.
Watch all the cases, all for free, from all your favorite devices.
We got you.
Feel the free. Pluto TV. Stream now. Pay never.